Hi beautiful, welcome back to part 2 of how to do nails. It's basically everything you need to know to do a basic set of acrylic nails, and yeah, the rest is up to you. So part 1 was how to prep the nails properly so that your enhancement lasts, and yeah, basically so that you have a good start, a good foundation to your enhancement. Okay, so we're just going to get right into gluing the tip. That's the very next step. So if you're just clicking on this video and you haven't seen part 1, go ahead and click on that. So we're going to apply glue to the well on the tip, and you don't want to apply too much, and then you're going to press it down, and then I've said this before, and then you're going to press up so that you release any bubbles. There are tips that you can use that are well less, and you can avoid the next steps I'm going to be doing, which is basically filing the edges and blending everything into the natural nail. But yeah, just wanted to throw that in there. So the first thing we're going to do after we apply the tip is cut to your desired length. I ended up cutting it shorter because we decided we're going to do a third video, and she wanted just a full set, so we did that. So I cut it shorter, and we are going to do a square shape. That's what she wanted. So you're going to use the 100 grit side of your file, which is a little it's the rougher side to simplify it. You're going to use the rough side to shape so that you're not sitting there, shaping forever. So you use that side and shape, and now we're going to go in with the sanding band that you use for prep, and you're just going to blend that tip in. We're not going to go in here and do it perfectly this time. The only thing I'm really going to focus on is the edges, and I don't know if you can see, but those corners, that can actually cause lifting. If those corners of the tip aren't blended well, it can actually cause lifting, cause some lifting in the acrylic. So yeah, so you want to make sure that those corners are blended in really well. The middle part, not so much unless you're doing like a clear glass set and you want to blend that in really well. Most people will use a tip that has no well on it. It's a well-less tip, like I said before. Then you would just glue that on the very tip of the nail, and then there's no well and there's no nothing. You don't need to blend anything because it's basically like a barely there tip. But I am using this tip, so these are the steps that I'm taking to blend those corners in really well. And yeah, so if you do want to make your life a little bit easier, just get the tips that are well-less. So here, as you can see, I went in and did the bulk of it with the sanding band, and then now I'm going to use the 180 grit side of my file and try to blend that in a little bit better, and blend the corners in. Now, I want to say something. There's this whole thing about time, how much time it takes and everything like that. I'm basically going to be talking about that a little bit on the third part on the next video. But a lot of these things, yes, I'm doing them in real time, and I'm taking my time and I'm showing you. But when you get used to doing this consistently, it's going to be like second nature. You're going to go from one nail to the next and boom, boom, boom. So don't worry in the beginning. Don't worry about any of that. Just focus on your application and building a good enhancement. That's the first thing you want to worry about, okay? And then the timing will come later. So after I filed and blended everything, I went in and dehydrated and removed all of the dust and debris with some alcohol. And then now I'm going in with primer, and I did 2 coats. And then now I will begin the acrylic application, okay? So we're going to go in. I zoom in to kind of show you what your nail will look like after you apply 2 coats of primer. Now we're going to go in. You're going to get all of your bubbles out of your brush. Make sure it is saturated. I'm ready to go. And as you can see, I dab it once, one good dab on the side of the dabbing dish, and I make sure my acrylic is smooth. And then I go in 1, 2, and then have my bead. And you saw that really slick little move there that I just kicked it out of the way with my nail. That's pretty cool. But so I applied the bead, and then I go on the sides of the acrylic bead and swipe it down. And I make sure that I'm basically tapering it. I'm keeping it slim. Let's just say it like that. I'm keeping it slim. I'm making sure that the acrylic stays inside of those lines. It's kind of like, you know, when you're coloring in a coloring book, you want to make sure it stays inside of the lines. You're keeping everything intact and in the center. And when I'm happy with how my bead is blended, and you can't see it, but you want to make sure you're always swiping your brush to keep it clean on the paper towel. So there I dabbed, I think it was twice, and then got a bit of a smaller bead. And then I'm going to go in at the cuticle, and then I'm going to blend. And my finger is facing down. And you guys just, you know, be gentle with it. There is no rush. It's really just, it just takes practice. There's no rush. You be gentle and swipe it. And then here I will take another bead and apply it at the tip. And as you can see, I'm spreading it out, and see, I'm taking my time. I don't need to rush. I am in control of the bead, and I know that powder, liquid to powder ratio is very important. And actually, that is a video that I should do, but there's nothing better than just getting in there and practicing and doing it yourself. So I'm showing you the shaping. So that was 3 beads, and you always want to look at all of your angles. Yes, you want to look down the barrel of the nail like I'm doing here. Make sure that everything looks filled in and pretty even, because we're going to go in and even everything out anyways with the file, but you want to make sure that everything is filled in. And I'm always checking in different angles to see if I like the arch and the shape, and it has a good sturdy arch. So then I'm just going to go in and file. And I'm always, I don't know if you notice, like on all of my videos, I go underneath too, because I don't like when the edges look jagged. I kind of like it to look pretty smooth. And then I go in and taper everything. But yeah, I forget what I was saying before. But yeah, as far as the acrylic, just the liquid to powder ratio is important. And take your time. Really just take your time and practice. There's nothing like doing it yourself. Like, have your liquid out and your powder, and take a paper towel, and if you just do it over and over again, dab your brush in the liquid, and then grab some powder, and then just keep doing it over and over again, and check the consistency, and until you feel like you're getting it right. And that's it. I mean, that's really how you're gonna be able to master it. So here I am using a extra fine bit. I will leave the things that I use in the description box for you, but I got this bit on Amazon. And I'm using it. You see how I'm holding the finger and pulling the skin back so that I have a little bit more control. This is a good way of getting in there and blending the acrylic in with the natural nail. And you should always see a gap between the two. The acrylic shouldn't be sitting on the skin, okay? And as you can see, I'm always using my pinky, always leaning it or balancing it on something so that I have a sturdy grip. And yeah, as you can see, I'm looking down the barrel of the nail, and when I'm at the top, I go in this direction. Here I'm just smoothing the nail out really and making sure everything is even. But at the top, you want to go in that direction, and then when you're removing bulk, you want to file in your direction. So like towards you. And this will avoid you hurting your client or yourself, depending on who you're doing nails on. But yeah. So here, yeah, this bit is really nice for smoothing everything out. I'm just checking my shape. I'm looking down the barrel of the nail. And see how I'm filing towards me, like the bit is going towards me. That's just to avoid that finger getting caught up under there, under the bit, or the file, I'm sorry, the E-file. But here I'm checking my angles. I want to show you here, see how it looks like there's a little bit of a bump at the top there. So I go back in and I want to smooth it out. Make sure, and that's just me being picky. I mean, I don't even think you noticed it, but it's me being picky. So just remember, guys, this is about the customer. Okay, it's about not only the customer but about you. I know the customer may be in a rush, they want to get out, but at the same time, you always want them to leave with quality work. You want to be happy and feel good about what your customer is leaving with. And yeah, I mean, what's the rush? It's art. It should look good, and everyone should be happy. So yeah. And right here I'm taking, this is a very fine buffer. These pink ones are very fine. It does not hurt. I really do think that this step is important. I've seen it be skipped because you use, a lot of us nail techs use the extra fine bit, but I really think that this step is important because you do not want your customer to leave with some sharp nails, like really sharp nails, or with lines all in the nails. And then when you go to apply the polish, you can see it. That's just me. That's what I like. I really very particular with how it looks and it feels, and I usually like touch the corners and make sure that they're not super sharp so she's hurting. Like I don't want the customer to leave or the client to leave and feel like they're gonna poke themselves or poke somebody's eye out, or I just want the nails to not only look good but feel comfortable too. Okay, so as you can see here, I'm dulling those corners, and no, it does not ruin the shape or anything, but I really think that this is a necessary step. And if you use this extra fine buffer, it's not going to hurt the client. You're not going to hurt yourself. It'll be fine, trust me. And I do a close-up here soon, where I show you why it's important. And it also helps blend the acrylic into the natural nail too. So as you can see right here, you should be able to see the cuticle, then the natural nail, and then the acrylic. And if you see those three things, then you should not have any lifting, and it's basically like a natural nail. And I know you saw there, you could see some scratches in there. I go in again and I buff those out. And that's just me. I'm used to that. I used to work in a salon, and you want those I used to work at a spa, actually. It's kind of like spa nails. Like, they need to be really nice. So yeah, that was it. But that is it. You have your nail, you built your nail, and you're always checking. And you guys, like, take your time in the beginning. It's okay to take your time. Get a feel for what is comfortable for you. Take all of those steps that you feel you need to take in order to be happy with your set. And that's it. We built a nail together, and now part 3 will be doing the full set. I will see you in the next video.